We'll discuss the state of affairs in Japan, the price of Bitcoin, and other major news in this episode. We'll also give you an update on the Ripple versus SEC case because there's a lot of disinformation, a lot of FUD, and a lot of people disseminating false narratives without knowing the whole story. You can be sure I'll cover everything, so let's get started. With a price of $63,019 right now, Bitcoin has gained 1.44% in the last day. In the same time frame, Ethereum has climbed by 1.17% to $2,451. Concerning their respective dollar values, USDT and USDC have both stayed steady. XRP is currently making an effort to get back to 54 cents following a notable increase to 53 cents and a half cents. Folks, where do we proceed from here? The response is simple: things are getting better, and Bitcoin is about to push beyond $66,000 once more. In other words, the trend is higher, and another push towards $66,000 is likely for Bitcoin. It's possible that some of you already know this, but others might not. We are discussing the near future here. In a few weeks, Bitcoin will reach $66,000. I really believe it will keep climbing after this. What am I doing for the time being? I do believe that Bitcoin will retrace and bounce back down to close the CME gap in the lower $50,000 level. I'm sitting this money on the sidelines, doing nothing at all. Future developments won't worry me because the bear market will end when the CME gap closes. When we get to about $55,000, we can raise the market again. To complete my cryptocurrency investment, I intend to buy a last holding. I'm just being honest about my behavior here. This is not financial advice. I keep nothing a secret, yet this is what I expect. Bitcoin's price fell back to between $50,000 and $55,000 after rising to $66,000. You should go pick up your NFT if you haven't already. This month, the Halloween tier was released as a new tier. We've sold over, 150 or 160 units in 6 days, and we're not quite halfway through the month yet. Be mindful. For whole, you receive XRP back. We gave holders a refund of more than $1,030,000 or $50,000 XRP on the 1st of this month. As long as you hold and finish the photo, we will keep doing this. Please don't try to fool the system. We will acknowledge your status as a holder, and you will get your refund. At an average price per coin of just less than 9.2 million yen, or 1 billion yen, Japan's Metaplant has acquired an extra $6.7 million worth of Bitcoin. This is a sign of substantial uptake and expansion, and it is consistent with our wish to have these big businesses engage in the market. To observe, we desire to witness these big businesses engaging with the market and buying Bitcoin. It's critical to keep in mind that these organizations and businesses are the ones controlling the market with their millions of dollars. The bar there is a limit to how much the general public can embrace cryptocurrencies. We should all be glad that we have reached a value of $2 trillion. But to get to a valuation of 7 or 10 trillion, we need bigger participants and larger sums of money. The United Arab Emirates steps in here, as they do not impose value-added tax on any cryptocurrency transaction. Is applicable retroactively as of January 1, 2018. It claims that all cryptocurrency transactions are free from value-added tax in the United Arab Emirates. According to a legal expert, the measure further legitimizes the virtual asset industry. All of the nations that surround the United Arab Emirates will now imitate this action after witnessing the UAE taking it. Why do they oppose people leaving the nation? In addition, this will facilitate immigration, and increased immigration will boost the economy by increasing consumer expenditure. It states that transactions made as early as January 1, 2018, are covered by the change, which goes into effect on November 15. For the first time, the exemption makes it obvious that the tax does not apply to digital assets. Rather, it covers the exchange and transfer of ownership of those assets. As a result, all cryptocurrency conversions and transfers will now be free from the 5% levy, which is something that needs to happen globally. Folks, this is not the US, where they want to tax your capital gains. Imagine purchasing XRP for 50 cents, then having to pay taxes on it when it rises to $3, even if you don't withdraw your cryptocurrency. Then, when this thing falls back down, you just have to pay taxes on a $3 XRP that you never even took profits on, and now the thing is sitting back at 50 cents. This is a double slap on the wrist, and they're really setting the US up for failure. If they're going to start taxing capital gain taxes will be the demise of the US economy and prevent anyone in the US from ever retiring. Caitlin Long says as much. So will the former SEC enforcement director, now that he's in the private sector, be working on crypto defense against the SEC? Thus, keep in mind the man who filed this with the SEC, he quit the agency after filing it. So, what do you think? He resigned from the SEC that same day to accept a position as the enforcement director at the Milbank law firm. Why did he decide to resign from the SEC if he truly thought that companies connected to cryptocurrencies were involved in illicit activities? Employment with the SEC? Now that he's going to work for a private company, will he be fighting the SEC in these lawsuits? Ripple should have hired him sooner rather than later, but this is crazy. You saw the same thing happen to Jay Clean and Bill Hinman, and now this guy, Gabby Gurul, is leaving the SEC and taking a job at the Milbank law firm. Here's the XRP chart over the last 120 weeks. You can see that we're absolutely ranging. What happens is, the longer the base, the higher we go to space. Over the past 120 days, we could zoom out on this thing even further. We have a very long base and have gone 7 years without seeing an all-time high on XRP, which is a record for the top 20 or top 25 cryptocurrencies. And Ellen Otero released this in a recent letter to its judge. Coinbase grants its own request for an interlocutory appeal, citing the SEC's government Ripple appeal. Recognizing the SEC's appeal, Coinbase draws attention to the problems with Howey's test application for secondary market sales, highlighting the need for further clarification from a higher court. Although interlocutory appeals are not often successful, Coinbase's case is strengthened by the Ripple appeal, as Meta Lawman notes. Let's now talk about the progress made in the Ripple v. SEC legal case. Allow me to give you an update on the state of affairs. I believe that Ripple is more vulnerable in this situation because of the SEC. By that, what do I mean? Alright, easy. The person who filed it left, as you can see, so it appears like he simply said, "Screw these guys, I'm going to file the appeal," turned around, and handed the matter over to the other SEC staff members. We still don't know if the appeal will be heard or what the appeal is actually about, but we do know one thing: there is a lot of false information, FUD, floating around that says XRP is a security and that we will miss the bull run. This is completely different from 2020 when the lawsuit's main point was that XRP was a security. It isn't up for debate whether we will miss the bull run. This appeal won't affect it. Ultimately, this will come down to one of two things. If there is less XRP that Ripple may dump, that is good news for us. A. Money, or B. How Ripple is selling XRP to institutions or on secondary markets does not impact us. There is a lot of false information, or FUD, floating about, along with a lot of ignorant people like Da Vinci, who recently got into a small argument with Matt Hamilton regarding whether cryptocurrency is superior, XRP or Bitcoin. Look, they will both accomplish their goals in this situation. However, that individual was so ignorant and full of nonsense. The countdown is on. He continued to believe that XRP might be frozen for 2 weeks.